The same question. Yeah, the emotions are very negative and disappointing. After I'm looking at the screen now, I see the way we conceded 1-0. But I have to be. I want to be positive about the reaction of the players after we went 1-0 down, because I think till half-time we played a very good game. After another disappointment, we came back into the game. I think we had enough chances maybe to go 2-1 up. And at half-time, I don't think anyone would have expected us to lose this game 4-1.
What did Virgil say just on that penalty? Because he seemed very unhappy at the awarding of it, feeling that he'd been fouled.
I think he got a little push, and that's I think what I saw, what he wanted to say to the referee. That little push unbalanced him. That's why he raised his arm and made the handball. But I don't think the VAR will ever overturn a small push like that.
Like you said, that the reaction to that and then managing to get yourself level, did you feel at that point that you had the capabilities and even the chances thereafter to go on and turn this game around?
Yeah, we did till half-time. And then after half-time, we conceded quite early the 2-1. Where I think after us conceding the 2-1, we still had a few good chances to go 2-2. But then 10-15 minutes before the end, I think, conceded another goal, and hard to take.
Mm-hmm. How do you combat the fragility that seems to set in when you do concede and obviously have to try and recover in matches?
Yeah, that's not always easy, but that's why I say after we conceded the first one, I think we saw the reaction I want to see, and it's not easy because we lost, of course, in the weekend, big loss, and then after 3 minutes going 1-0 down. So the mentality I saw afterwards was as you were hoping it to be, but it's not always so easy if you had so many disappointments. Even after the 2-1, I think we kept trying. We were close to scoring the 2-2. But end result is 4-1, and that's of course another big loss.
You knew exactly what PSV were going to bring to this game, but would you say with the way the game unfolded there was a difference in the way the teams reacted mentally and physically to situations?
You're talking about us now, or?
Yeah.
I don't exactly understand. Can you ask one more time?
Just the way PSV played and the way they reacted, in the transition, they were very fast. But do you think there was a difference between the way Liverpool players reacted in the transition?
I liked the way we reacted in transition in the first half a lot. I think almost every time we won the ball back, we could keep them on their half almost all the time. And there were parts of the second half that we weren't able to, especially the start of the second half. It felt, I constantly felt, what's wrong with Hugo? It felt as if he couldn't move as he did the first half. So that's why our press was, I think, also a little bit off. And he just told me that, in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the first half, he already felt his back too much. That's also why he had to go out. But not that it's only about him, but we couldn't bring the same, in the first 5 to 10 minutes, the same power in our pressing as we did in the first 45.
It's another game conceding, 3 goals or more now, the third one in a row. I know we spoke yesterday and you said, you were trying to find solutions. Where do you go from here now ahead of another huge game at the weekend?
The only way to go is to go through now. And what I mean with that is, we just have to face where we are in and fight really hard. And would be nice if we don't every time get this knock of a goal we concede, because it's not only conceding a goal, it's also the feeling, I think, at least the feeling I have, and I think the players will probably have the same in our fans as well, that after 45 minutes you don't expect to be 1-1, you expect to be up, and instead of being up 5 minutes after half time, again we concede, or 10 minutes, I don't know exactly, but that's hard. But like I said, the reaction of the players, especially in the first half and after the 2-1, was the reaction you expect from a Liverpool player. But I said it many times now, end result is 4-1.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Tackle someone and just be a dog out there, and it's not always the fact that I've got these lads who are nice on the ball that we just play, like go and smash someone, and it comes from me as well. I'm not saying that the other lads have to go and do it, because I'm the same. I'm in the exact same boat that, that the lads are looking at me as well. Say, go on then, smash one. So, it's got to be on me and the rest of the lads to change this around, to not be so nice where teams are coming here thinking, oh, we're going to win here, we're going to score 2, 3, 4 goals. No, you come in here, and this used to be, it used to be a place that you hated to come, with the fans, with us, and how we played, and how we go and press, and we're just absolute dogs, and then we have the ball, and then we play, whereas now, we hardly even play. There's times when we do play, but off the ball stuff, I think that's the stuff that has to change.
Thank you. Arne Slot looking very dejected, as you'd expect, but he did feel, as you guys did, that they played well in the first half, certainly after the first 5 minutes conceding that first goal. How do you then explain what happened in the second half when it felt like the momentum was with them to go on and win the game?
I think it's very difficult to explain, because the capitulation in the second half was so noticeable. It was as if they just, once the second goal went in, they just couldn't recover. They couldn't get back in shape, and they looked more and more open. You see, Perisic had a shot just after the second goal where he volleys it into the ground. It could have been worse earlier. So they need to have this mentality that when they are struggling a little bit, that they get back, they get into a shape, and for the first 10-15 minutes they're difficult to play through. I thought they were very easy to play through today. I thought they were slow from the goalkeeper out. I thought they allowed PSV to close them down at times instead of going longer a couple of times. I just thought they made it a lot easier for them. Sometimes you have to go against your principles and turn the opposition round and get further up the field. But I just thought they were too open at times in the second half, and they started gambling far earlier than they probably should have. The
Frankfurt game is the only game where they've gone behind and actually gone on to win it this season. Why do you think that resilience isn't there, or the ability to kind of respond to setbacks in games?
I think confidence is an issue at the moment. They had a real big moment, 2-1 down with the Gakpo header. And I think if you score that at the Kop end, changes confidence, belief, momentum within the game. Favour at the moment. And then when they're giving balls away or in transition, because they're gambling and taking a lot of risk with personnel and putting bodies ahead of the ball, and
no one had envisaged, Stephen.
Everybody, good to have you with us. It was, of course, a good night for our two Arsenal fans here at the desk. Not such a good night for the third man at the table. Good, Micah, yeah. Liverpool fan Jamie had a rough night. It's been overall kind of a disastrous run for Liverpool, right? This looked like a game coming into it that could potentially give them some respite. Hasn't gone that way at all, Jamie.
No, I mean, I just felt PSV at home. It's the type of team, we were always in the Champions League. I used to play against them, obviously, numerous times. It was almost like a gimme. You beat PSV at home 2-0 in the Champions League. You don't have to break sweat, and you go on from there. So to lose to Nottingham Forest a few days ago and to lose to PSV now, it's not just losing, it's the manner of the defeat as well. Didn't look like scoring either. It's just, it's pretty bad. Are we going to go to the goals here? Or am I talking about Liverpool? Let's just do the goals, because I end up talking about something over goals. Best lines in vision. Let's go through the goals. Liverpool's not a sacking club. I say Liverpool, I think, are different from almost every club in European football, where if the manager is the king, the managers get time. Liverpool have never sacked a manager who's won the league. Never in the history. They've all, after a few years, they've gone, they've resigned. I couldn't believe at the weekend that people were talking about the manager's job. When I spoke to Liverpool supporters after losing at home to Nottingham Forest. It's only going to amplify now. And I've always been in the camp of you stick with the manager, because I'm angry with the players, if I'm being totally honest. I'm really angry with the players. But it does get to a stage with any manager at any club where I always use this word, untenable, where it almost feels like it can't go on any longer. I'm not quite there yet personally in terms of the manager, but I know a lot of supporters will be. But I've had a lot of time to think about it, because I knew the game was over well before the final whistle. I think what you see now is Liverpool in 2018 under Klopp starts this sort of journey being a great team, and then Slot comes in, and we're now, 7 or 8 years later. The catalyst for Liverpool at the very start of that run was Alisson, Van Dijk and Salah. Alisson's injured a lot now, so he doesn't play so much. But you're watching Van Dijk now, not the same player. And Mo Salah looks like his legs have gone. I don't like criticising them, and I think some of the criticism of them this season as players has been harsh. You always look for your leaders in your team to step up when things are not going well. Now, I've been critical of Mo Salah off the pitch. I want him to come out and do an interview tonight and speak to the Liverpool supporters about what the players are going to do, what's going on in the dressing room, giving the supporters hope that things are going to improve. But I don't like criticising on the pitch because they're absolutely legendary what they've done, and the legs have just gone, especially with Salah. Van Dijk now can't help other players. He needs help himself. And that just means that he's a normal centre-back, like I was at one stage. So maybe he's not superhuman right now. But they've been that good for the football club. I look at some of the others. Step up. Can you only play well when they play well? Or they carry you? Their seasons last season were off the scale, and everybody else enjoyed that win in the league, and they're all league champions. They've got it on the CV, and great. But when they're not there, where are they? Where are the others? Where are the other players? So that's why I get angry about talk about the manager. But it's inevitable, and something could happen. But in terms of the players and the way they're performing now, that is, I mean, not acceptable for Liverpool Football Club. And I actually think, and maybe I thought this a little bit last season, are some of them good enough for Liverpool if Liverpool want to win the biggest trophies? We saw them at Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. We saw them against PSG away from home last season. I mean, woeful performances. And they've been carried by some of the greatest players the club have ever had. This is maybe a snapshot of the future of Liverpool when Mo Salah moves on, Virgil van Dijk moves on, and Alisson moves on.
As far as we know, Mohamed Salah hasn't yet spoken tonight after the game, but Curtis Jones has. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say. Let's listen in.
It starts with just wanting to be a man out there and just wanting to...
Do you want to react to that? Do you want to talk about a different...
Well, Curtis Jones is a not young anymore actually, you know, he's a local player and he's passionate, he's obviously hating right now, and he's given an interview that will probably go everywhere. I'd love to have seen Mo Salah speaking there rather than Curtis Jones coming out. But when he's saying we need to put a tackle, we need to go to the ball, who's stopping you? The only thing in football someone can't stop you doing is running. It might not happen with the ball, or the ability, or the quality, or people have lost confidence. No one can stop you tackling, running and pressing. So when he's saying why we're not doing, well, why aren't they then? Just do it. Don't tell us you're not doing it, or say you're going to do it in the next thing. Just do it.
The Canate mistake, would they, for the third? You know, at 2-1, they're still in the game, they're making chances, they're attacking. PSV are holding on and hoping for the counter-attack. And then you're almost given the goal, aren't you? The Canate mistake was a huge mistake to go 3, and the air was just sucked out of Anfield when the third one went in. It was almost as if, right, that's it, it's gone. People got up and were leaving, they'd seen enough. And I think that just exacerbated then the players start gambling even more. The clock starts ticking, you can see the clock in the corner, and then they're piling forwards, and then they leave themselves really open at the back. I've seen that in the past. You don't like them conceding 4, but I know why they conceded the 4th. It was the goal 2 and 3 which affected the game really.
The desperation to try and make amends for the result, but the damage was already done.
When we were here before the about Arne Slot's position was nonsense at that point. But do you think now, as this run is continuing, his position should come under some serious scrutiny now? Well,
that's the world we live in. That's football in the modern day. I've been in that position myself, and you understand if you are not getting the results required from the demand at whatever club you're at, there's going to be serious questions asked. There's going to be stewards' inquiry in different areas. That comes with the territory. That's life, especially at the top end. I personally
think it's far too early to what he's achieved last year and where he is now at this year. That is a good run of fixtures. You know, again, Liverpool are not playing well enough.
I agree with that, Macca, from me and you, because we've lived through it. We've suffered.
Yeah,
we've suffered, and I've been on both sides, player and management. So it's not me, but it's going to come.
Yeah, I understand the question completely, but with those run of fixtures, and Liverpool are still in the Champions League and are still fighting in the Champions League, I think it's far too early to come up with a question like that. So
you're saying they would have to go out of the Champions League for that to happen?
No, I think they'd have to go out of the Champions League and be wallowing near the bottom of the league. You know, I think the question, you should ask me that question, I said early on before the game. I think they play Arsenal second week of Jan, I think, round about then. That's when the question should be asked. They're halfway through the season to a certain extent. Hopefully, you know, they'll have climbed the table. And I also I think you have to give them time for some of the signings that have been injured constantly since they had. A lot of them have been signings that you expected to come in and lift the team. And if anything, they've detracted from the team because they haven't been available. They look lopsided at times. So I think it's far too early to ask a manager that question when he's achieved so much in such a small space of time. But I do understand in the world we live in that question will be bandied around.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I asked you that question prematurely. Some tough games coming up, though.
Liverpool fans will say yes. If you ask plenty of them outside, they'll probably go yes.
As well in the Champions League.
Taking the heat off Newcastle, aren't you?
Two very tough games. Crisis point with Liverpool, Stephen. You said it was more of a rut at the moment, but are we getting closer to that now?
It was actually your word. You said rut.
You agreed with it, though.
But listen, each defeat... Especially in the manner of the defeat, you become closer to the crisis. I don't like using that because a crisis to me is a club that needs years to get back to the top. I don't think Liverpool are at that point at all. They've still got magnificent players. This is a squad, or the majority of a squad, that won the league 4 months ago. So I think crisis is too strong.
Even when you're on your worst run since 1953?
No, that's not good enough. There's no excuses for that at this football club. I think everyone knows that.
Yeah.
But crisis is a very strong word and disrespectful to some of the players that have delivered for this football club and for the manager that's delivered three months ago. If this was 6 months down the line, a year down the line, and we're further away from that success, then maybe you can use a word like that. But I won't use that word just yet. But you can't deny that this team is struggling massively. They're on a terrible run. Confidence is at an all-time low. And they just keep bleeding. They keep conceding goals. They're wide open. And unless the manager can find answers and stability in the team, it's going to continue. Yeah.
Let's look at the goals that they conceded tonight, Maka, because there was a lot of the similar issues that we've seen with individual errors, conceding goals too easily. But it started so badly, didn't it, on the 4th minute?
Yes.
With a bizarre handball from Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, and as I mentioned at half-time, Virgil is the only man who can tell you what made him put his arm in the air, whether he was getting held, whether he felt he was trying to fob shot off the defender and his arm shot up in the air. So yes, it was a penalty as far as I'm concerned, no problem at all. But actually I had a problem with the 3 goals after that more than that, because Liverpool got themselves back into the game. It's a handball, Perisic sticks it away, fine. It was the 3 after that were really, really disappointing, because Liverpool went in at half-time and were on top in the game, and you just felt they'd come out attacking the Kop, they'd get the winner or they'd get 3. The fact that there was nothing in the second half was the really disappointing part. Perisic smacks it past Amardashvili, no chance at all, and they took a deserved lead at this moment in time, very early on in the game, and Liverpool are chasing yet again.
It's the 3rd penalties conceded this season, Stevie. The issue is players who delivered last season in that title-winning campaign, experienced players who've been here a long time, not hitting those heights.
I think when you're in this moment, it doesn't rain, it pours. You know, and everything seems to be going against them. Virgil was complaining about that incident, but I think when he looks at it back, yes, there was a small impediment on his left hand, but maybe not enough to give such a clear handball away. And as Marcus said, it wasn't an ideal start, but Liverpool were excellent from that point in the character, getting back into the game, and they were really strong to half-time. I'm thinking at half-time they're going to come out second half, more of the same, get the second goal and then go and win the game comfortable. I didn't think PSV were that good in the first half, but the opposite happened. I thought PSV come out, they were excellent to a man, comfortable, they raised their game, and they went on and dominated the game from then on.
And the second goal that they conceded, you two weren't happy with Mo Salah or Kempes.
Listen, it doesn't matter whether it's Mo Salah or anyone, you can't get beaten a dribble in a 1v1 across the pitch, especially in this situation. And Kempes, to me, he's out of position for the majority of the game. It's criminal to be on that side of the attacker, you have to be on the inside. You know, you look at it here, yes, Mo can do better in the 1v1, you can't get beaten the dribble. Okay, Liverpool try and recover, but if you just pause that there now on that pass, Kempes has to be the other side of the attacker, because he gives himself no chance to get in a position to make a challenge.
Yeah, Mo has to get across, use another couple of yards, body shape, get your body shape correct, and then you usher the left back towards his own goal. But the fact is, he ran onto him and he was square onto him. And I thought the left back was excellent tonight, by the way, and he just shuffled his shoulders and he's gone. And Mo Salah can't do anything. If Mo comes towards the white line now, and shows him backwards, but he doesn't. He fronts him on, and it's very easy for the left back to go past him. Kerkez doesn't do anything to influence this now. He's in position, is he? No, he's not in position. He doesn't stop and play him offside because he can see across the line. He runs with him, but he doesn't even get a tackle in. So what's the point? He might as well have been free. You know, you'd have to influence the ball. You have to influence the passage of play. He can see the guy. He doesn't get go inside of him. He doesn't play him offside. He just gets close. Close is not good enough.
Should Mo Salah still be starting?
Well, what's the other option?
Yeah.
Maybe Chiesa, give him a goal from the start.
I think he's been more of an impact player, and I think it's maybe sends the wrong message to everyone that's watching the football club at the moment. They're in a real difficult moment. He's a senior player. He's your vice captain. He's been your talisman. He's been an absolute iconic figure here for some. That doesn't mean he should start every single game, but whoever is managing Liverpool right now would pick Mo Salah, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, you can take him off the pitch or rest him. But in this moment, Liverpool need all the good players on the pitch to try and find some kind of stability.
And also, they've got so many injuries to so many personnel that he probably needs to play. I mean, Rio Wingamo is only young. You wouldn't put him in now when they're struggling. I'm the same as Stephen. If it's Salah or Chiesa, I pick Salah all the time. I think Chiesa is an impact player, I really do. It looks as if, we don't know how Ekitike is, but it looks as if he's got an injury now, whether it's a hamstring injury, but that didn't look good. So actually, Liverpool are down to their bare bones now. The two fullbacks are still out and don't know when they're going to come back. So Konate's not having the best time. He's been dragged off twice very early on. So the manager's got some hard thoughts. And when you looked at the bench tonight, it wasn't the strongest of benches, wasn't it, that you'd go to? So you can't just say, I'd drop him for a mistake. Of course you can't. You can't act like that. You have to act in the bigger interests of the club. Van Dijk made a mistake. You can't just say I would drop him. So the fact that Salah didn't get back to that position, there was still a lot for the left back to do for them to score the goal. But we're nitpicking on every single thing because it's magnified because they've been
but also
against
it's when it's repeated incidents, I guess, then it becomes more of an issue, doesn't it?
Yeah,
because
but it's
not
Mo Salah
just a
initially
one-off.
because we go back far enough. And then it's Kerkez at the end. You know, you want your defender to be in the right position and his body in the right position to stop that wonderful ball from the left back. But we go back to say, well, Mo should have done this, and that will always happen in games. But you expect more from them. It was far too easy to score the goal, and that was, you know, a vitally important goal, wasn't it? The second.
Well, you mentioned Konate as well. Let's look at.
Well, only because we mentioned it before the game for the Nottingham Forest game.
Yeah, I mean, look, he does well initially with the first ball. If we don't win the second ball, just clear the ball. Just empty it. Get the team back in shape. You know, you can't make a mistake of that magnitude at 2-1. You know, and then they get a bit of luck with the strike off the post, and then it's game over from that moment.
Just too easy, Maka.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to do the basics very well, especially when the team's having a tough time, things are going against you, confidence is a bit low. Just do the basics well. Yeah. Put your foot to do that, your size 12, bang, right down the pitch, and then we'll worry about it later.
We'll stick it in Rosette, and you know what, we'll get back, we'll recover, we're 2-1 down, we'll regroup and we'll move on from there. But it's too quick after, you know, him speaking at the French national team about his contract, the stories about his contract, then he makes a mistake against Nottingham Forest, and then he's played tonight and he's made another huge mistake, and then the manager's dragged him off. The manager's dragged him off and put a midfielder back there when they've got a midfielder at right back. And this just exacerbates the whole situation. They're all over the place here because they're gambling.
You gamble and putting bodies forward, but again, the ball's getting given away on the edge of the box. There's no counter press, and Kerkez again is out of position. So, you know, the counter attack, Liverpool are wide open, pass down the side of the centre halves. The midfield, who've all gambled, is non-existent, and it's an easy pass into your goal. But that goal's not the problem, because you're risking, you're putting bodies forward. The game's already done. The problem is goal 2 and goal 3, and it's the same thing. Individual mistakes, the art of defending, doing the basics well, winning duels, doing the bit for the team. Liverpool have got big issues in that department.
And how big a problem is it now that we look at the situation they're in, that they didn't get that Mark Gay transfer over the line in the summer?
As Maka said, you know, these isolated things in conversation and debates will all be magnified. The young kid Leone, who looked a really good player, got a big injury early in the season. You know, has the squad got enough balance to cope with injuries? Or, but of course, you'd love Mark Guéhi there at the moment. He'd walk into that team.
All right, guys.
Right, let's have a chat about what we saw in the Champions League, and I said so many stories. Arsenal, will come to them in a minute, but what went wrong for Liverpool tonight at Anfield? Liverpool 1, PSV 4. If Forest was bad at the weekend, Michael, was that even worse?
Oh, 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt. And I probably didn't give PSV enough respect when you see them 13 games in the domestic league, 34 points. But I still expected Liverpool to turn up tonight and win and show a reaction. 9 defeats in 12 games. I mean, that is disastrous. That is a team that is lacking any self-belief, anything going forward. I look and think, here we go. We got a response after 6 minutes from going behind. Defensive for set pieces, they always look vulnerable. But they responded from the penalty set back. And I thought, here we go, half-time, they get the goal. Very, very confident in wide areas. Pretty much what I saw at the weekend against Nottingham Forest. But then second half, I expected them to come out and hit the ground running. How wrong was I? There was only one team out there in the second half. And when they got the noses in front, PSV, they were absolutely dominant. And the goal probably summed it up. Junior goes past Salah as if he's not there. I mean, it's on the halfway line, so you think, all right, he's an attacking player, you don't have to defend. Trust me, when you're in the rut that they're in at this moment in time, you defend, you scrap, you fight, you kick the ball out of play, you do whatever you want to do to try and get a result, and they didn't show that. And the ball from from Junior that gets inside for Gus Till, Kirke switches off, he gets inside and he puts the ball in the back of the net. And from that moment, then you think, can they respond? And Liverpool just haven't got that fight at the moment, they haven't got the belief individually and collectively. And then the mistake from Kanate and he gets taken off. And I just look round and I think Arne Slot has to make changes now. He has to bring Robertson in, he has to bring Joe Gomez in, because these players, we touched on it before, all of us, about confidence, and they are low. This is a real challenging time for Arne Slot.